Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. The veteran Matt Bryant set to rock and roll. And we are underway from downtown Minneapolis. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard. Line.
Here we go, here we go. 180! Hey,
they're scared, they're scared!
This is a guy who made a Pro Bowl in his second season, James Conner. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. 10 yards, and it's good for a Viking first down.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Right back to Conner here on 1st. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Someone's looking fresh, and this O-line is definitely licking their chops. Everyone likes to run block. If you're an offensive lineman, nice early burst, nice gain too.
Throwing on 2nd and 3. Garoppolo looking middle, and it's incomplete. The linebacker Bobby Wagner able to get back in coverage and knock it free. Well, these two teams, the Falcons and the Vikings, have met 30 times since the Falcons' inaugural year in the league back in 1966. The Vikings winning 19 of those games, but maybe the most memorable game between the two was a Falcons victory. That was in the NFC Championship game back in January of '99. Gary Anderson missed a field goal to potentially win it at the end of regulation, and then the Falcons would get the victory in OT 30-27, and they were off to the Super Bowl.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. 120!
Blue down.
Hey, alert! Alert! Alert!
55! Mark 55! You must be mad.
There's Garoppolo on 1st and 10. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Cam Hayward, always a force, got back there for the sack. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. This is Conner running right. And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. Only 2 yards on the carry. That's going to set up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 15 to be exact.
Here we go, here we go. 180!
I smell fear in that offense.
Working from the gun, Garoppolo. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Nick Perry comes flying in for the sack.
It always helps for a visiting team to come in and set the tone on defense. In fact, when we talked with them prior to the game, they said they wanted this home crowd to feel like they had to hide their valuables when they were in town.
Well, the home crowd quiet now early. See if their offense can take over and get some points on the board. And that hits at the 6 and carries into the end zone for a touchback.
At their own 20-yard line.
Set. It's set, buddy.
It's our time. It's our time, guys. It's our time.
Now the third leading rusher in the NFL last year, Todd Gurley. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. 12 yards is the pickup. Good for a first down for the Falcons.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. If that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from about the 32. Here's Gurley. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with 3rd and still 7 yards to go. Pretty good little two-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
Let's go. Hey, we got Mike, number 53. Mike, 53. I'm coming for you.
Throwing on 3rd down, Newton. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Give the sack to Aaron Lynch, the former USF Bull. And they weren't in zone coverage, they were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They were forced to punt on their initial drive of the new season. Now they're ready to go as they begin again with a 1st and 10. The drive will start with Connor and give him about 5 as he gets this up to the 48-yard line.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half.
Here we go.
Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
On 2nd down, Connor looking for space, and he'll be brought down right at midfield after a gain of only a couple.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
Here we go. Here we go. Black 80.
Let's make these babies cry all the way back.
Six.
Let's make these babies cry.
Hey, wahoo.
55. Mike, 55.
Better bring it. You better bring it. I'm letting you know right now, you better bring it.
From midfield, here's Garoppolo. And he connects with Ertz. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. It's a gain of 16, and the Vikings have the first down as well.
1st and 10 at the 34-yard line.
Here we go. Here we
From
go.
the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
11.
Now a man closing in on 15,000 career rush yards, Frank Gore. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Now it's Connor. And still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to 3rd down.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
They're going to need some therapy after this.
They'll try and run forward counter. And he's going to be taken down here, still a couple yards short of the first. Just a gain of 2 there, and it's going to bring up a 4th down.
A 2-yard gain. It's 4th down.
We're scoreless after 1.
With no score.
Second quarter now from Minnesota. It's the Vikings in possession of the football as they've got it, looking at a 4th down and 2.
A 43-yard attempt.
And Bailey able to knock it through. And the Vikings have a 3-0 lead. Been a bit of a dogfight thus far into the second quarter now, and we do have our first points, a field goal.
Yeah, a lot of people say, wow, first action on the scoreboard, about time. To me, the action's been right there on the field, trying to figure out who could gain an advantage, gain some field position, finally get points on the board. I'm loving this kind of game.
And feels like kickers might play a big role in this one.
Yes, make sure you give them the respect they deserve. They could cost you a game or win you one.
About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. This one a little slow to get cooking, just a 3-0 score line as they begin with a 1st and 10. Here's Newton. And that is incomplete. Showed off the arm strength there, but to no avail. 2nd down.
Oh, boy, partner, did that just happen? I've got my hand over my eyes right now because like him, it's going to haunt my dreams, too. He was wide open. How did he overthrow him there?
Defensively, just very lucky. You know that they got away with one there. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. They run. It's Gurley. Oh, he's got a little daylight. 14 yards there and a Falcon 1st down.
Coming in, he really liked his chance of having a big year based on a terrific offseason. And runs like that on opening weekend show that he's right.
So on the heels of the run by Todd Gurley, another 1st and 10. Off play action. Newton. He'll let it go deep for Beckham. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. He was looking for Odell Beckham that time, but it'll be 2nd down.
But one thing's for sure, when you've got a big receiver and you trust him downfield, you're going to give him opportunities to go up and get that 50-50 ball.
And he is a darn good big receiver. Unfortunately, that time didn't work out. Nice job defensively. So line of scrimmage still the 39 on 2nd and 10. Now it's Gurley. And there is nowhere for him to cut back as he's taken down in the backfield. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Ready, 20. Great.
53's mine. Check, 53's mine.
Express.
To throw on 3rd down. Newton. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Leighton Vander Esch wreaking havoc with a sack.
You know, on these types of plays, we're always looking to assess blame. Okay, where did it break down? Sometimes it's just a great play.
This is away and a very good kick angled for the sidelines. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds.
At their own 26-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, that doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try to increase your lead in a big way. And the best way to do it, touchdowns.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
13.
Connor on the toss play.
Here we go.
And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
The Vikings on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd down and 12.
11.
Hey, check right. Watch it, 5. Go. Check 3.
12.
The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. The Vikings on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd down and 12.
1, Omaha. 65.
Mike 5-5. Mike 55. Mike 5-5. Let's go, defense. Our time.
11.
He's crashing. He's checking crash.
To throw, it's Garoppolo. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Michael Kendricks coming in to drop him.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
Yeah, blink of an eye, that happened fast and a big sack. Now here's Michael Dixon as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Yeah, yikes. Terrible kick headed straight for the sidelines. And this one goes sailing out of bounds. Where did it cross? Well, they're going to say on this side of midfield. On 1st down, it's Gurley. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Another example right there how this defense really is winning the entire game at the point of attack.
Yeah, right there at the line of scrimmage because they are dominating it. It allows their interior guys to get upfield and spill into the backfield. So how are you going to combat that? You know, because they bring in your tight end, keep him in, your running backs, they have to step forward. Bottom line, your offensive line has to block them first to give yourself a chance.
A nice pickup there, 18 yards, 1st down Falcons. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside.
Tighten up. Pull it together.
Gurley. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down.
Plays like we just saw there, that's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
Watch the run. 53 is the mic. 53 is the mic. All day. Check. 53 is the mic. Check.
Now on 2nd and 13, Newton. He finds his man Johnson. That one a gain of 20 and a 1st down. We often, with Cam Newton, talk a lot about his legs. Don't forget about that arm.
He can throw it on a rope. He can loft it. He's got the touch that's been developed throughout his career. But the big part about just watching him throw it seems almost effortless.
And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. A 13-yard touchdown run. And the Falcons have taken the lead. And they're able to run it in. It started with a battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how are we going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
And after the touchdown, here's Bryant now to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line.
Here we go.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Well, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.
First and 10 at the 34-yard line.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30.
You got nothing.
On 1st and 10 is counter.
I'm going to hit you all day, baby.
We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll again head down to visit with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando, back for another year. He'll have scores from around the NFL here on this opening weekend. They follow up the gain of 2 with a gain of 1 that time.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stopped that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
One, Omaha.
55, Mike 55.
Throwing is Garoppolo on 3rd down. And he gets it to Funchess complete. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. 21 yards there on 3rd down. On 1st down, it's Gore. And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, it's been the air game that's taken them down on this drive before they finally turned around and handed it off on the last play.
And now they're looking for the big boys to get him in the end zone. Couldn't do it there.
It'll be interesting to see. Offensive lines had to pass block a lot on this drive. Will they be able to revert and fire out and create some space in the run game?
Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half.
Let's go, let's go.
Garoppolo looks to throw. And that is caught, but the bank judge right there to say incomplete. The 3rd down battle won by Atlanta's defense. Solid coverage. So out comes the field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. From the right hash, and this one just a chippy. Bailey's kick is good. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he'd taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. About set to begin their next drive. The Falcons offense at the line. You've got less than 30 seconds left here in the half. You're well on your own side of the field. What are we doing here, Coach Davis?
Well, I'm trying something on 1st down. And it's something that's safe. It's something that's been done many times before. A lot of people say it's not even worth trying, but I'm running a draw. I'm running a screen. I'm seeing if something pops. And if it does, that can alter my strategy and potentially get me some points. And if it doesn't work, well, then you just run the clock out and go to the locker room.
From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Newton. He'll let it go deep for Beckham. And that is incomplete. So 17 seconds now on the clock here. He was trying to go back to Beckham there. And it's 3rd down.
Well, partner, they're not content to run this one out as we head towards the half, trying to hit a big chunk play right there and add to their score.
Yeah, this is a confident group. At the very least, they're thinking field goal.
Yeah, and I don't blame them one bit. I don't think you sit on the ball going into the half when you have a chance to put some more points on the board.
Check 55 to mine. Check 55.
On 3rd down, Newton. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now. Here's Matt Bosher now as he's on to punt for Atlanta. And he uncorks a beauty. Best of the day. Taken in at the 22. 12 yards on the return that time. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before halftime. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Likely time for just one final play, and then it'll be off to the locker room to talk about how they can erase this deficit.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people look at it and go, well, maybe you take a shot here. Maybe you get some momentum going into the half. What's the flip side of that? You do something crazy, quarterback gets hit, ball comes free, and now you're down an even bigger margin. Go ahead and take this one, go to the locker room, start over.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. We'll see if week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. They have the lead now. They'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ballgame.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Took just one play to move all the way to the 44 as they try again on first down. They try right side here, Gurley. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Viking territory. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
Again they run with Gurley. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Now Newton on first down. Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line. DeForest Buckner with a sack, the former number 7 overall pick. And they need to work to at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19. Now Newton. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's third down.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down.
50 seconds to Mike. 57. Mike, 57.
Newton to throw. Towards the end zone for Brown. And it's incomplete, almost intercepted. He had a great shot of picking that off in the end zone. It brings up fourth down. And this one is right down the middle. And they bump the lead up to 4 now at 10-6. Well, looking at it from a defensive perspective, that keeps the deficit very, very manageable. You know, all things considered, not a bad job on the defensive side.
I would say that you've pointed out something pretty good right there, and that is you actually have both sides happy with that exchange. You know, happy in quotes, of course. One team, hey, we've kept it within range. The other side saying, hey, we put points on the board and did stretch out the lead. Let's see how this one turns out.
Yeah, still bottom line, though, 3 points for the opening drive of the third quarter.
Here we go,
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half two.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
Here's a 2nd and 2 now from the 33. They'll stay on the ground with Connor again. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
Not too many more ideal situations in 2nd and 2 in order to try and pick up a first down. They ran it and picked it up.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Connor. And not much doing. He'll get this only up to about the 36. In on the tackle there, Bobby Wagner coming off a 3rd straight All-Pro season.
Brings up 2nd and 9 at the 36-yard line.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Now they'll throw with Garoppolo. He's got Gore. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 12 yards there, first down Vikings.
Good route, good pickup for first down yardage, and that is a tough one to cover, the angle route, because a running back getting out of the backfield, if you're trying to cover that, especially if you're in the linebacker spot and you're seeing this play develop, he heads out towards the flat first, and that often gets you to overcommit running in that direction. Then he cuts back up inside you into the middle of the field. That's what we just saw there for a nice pickup. And there's the first tackle of the game for Carl Joseph. He's one of those safeties that you can utilize in any way you want. But I will have to say, I think the number one thing he does best is tackle.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Again, it's Connor. And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
So 3rd and 2. This quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped. On 3rd down, it's Connor. And he's going to get this inside the 30. He'll get 15 and a Vikings first down.
Well, partner, what do you think? Might have been 4-down territory if they didn't pick it up, but...
Yeah, it's a moot point now. I was curious, so if they didn't get it there, would they have gone for it? I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, we didn't have to make that call, but I have a feeling both of us would have said, go for it.
I got you, pop. Out, out, out.
On first down, it's Connor, and only able to muster a couple down to about the 27. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
He's had success on this drive, but not on this play.
Finally, they bowed up defensively. I think they were determined not to let him take it pretty much all the way down the field.
Yeah, it looks like they handled their run responsibilities correctly this time. When we call them run fits, everyone was in the right place.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8.
I got you. I got you.
To throw is Garoppolo. Looking for Ertz, but it's intercepted. Picked up by the linebacker, Bobby Wagner. He's at the 50, the 30, past the 20. And he will score. Touchdown, Falcons.
He is a difference maker at the linebacker position. He had a pick 6 last year, remember it, but it's different for those guys, isn't it, than a corner or a safety?
It certainly is, because sometimes they're pattern reading, seeing what the receivers are doing. Sometimes they're spot dropping, just getting to a place on the field and finding the quarterback and going to the ball. But remember this, these linebackers, at one time in their life, a lot of them were running backs, and they love having the ball back in their hands and making big moves towards the end zone.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And last time, decent field position through the pick 6. Obviously cost one.
But they can't afford
A battle for it, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Ronald Darby. And his guys are going to get the football at their own 47-yard line. So the special teams penalty cost some yardage there as they come out on 1st and 10. Here comes carry number 10 for Gurley. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Another carry now for Gurley. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 16, first down Falcons.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
We are through 3 quarters here on NFL Kickoff Weekend. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
Switch.
Now Gurley. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27. I think we can get used to seeing more of that in this 4th quarter, especially if they're having success on the ground like they did there.
Yeah, I think back when we met with the head coach in preseason, and all he talked about was building a bully. And I think it was this situation he was envisioning. Trying to ice a game, plenty of time left, but being able to give the ball to his big runner and pound away and try and finish off a game.
Now on 2nd down, this is Gurley. And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And they're going to face a 3rd down. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. From the left hash, this from 53 yards out. And that will wind up just short. He had it online. It ran out of gas at the end, and this score will stay right where it is. Well, listen, now no kick from 50-plus is a gimme, but here you're indoors in a dome. You'd think ideal conditions.
Yeah, and it's one that he would expect himself to make, not just us expecting him to make it. Over the years, my theory is very simple. The athletic ability of kickers continues to get better and better. Check their backgrounds. They were all county, all state, at other positions, not just soccer players. These guys expect themselves to be great as well.
Throwing again on second down. Garoppolo. And he's taken down, trying to do a little too much, getting outside of the pocket, and it results in a sack. Nick Perry picks up his second sack of the afternoon. Taking a shot for Samuel. And that'll wind up incomplete. Bold play call there. Now it's fourth down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Now here's Michael Dixon as he's on to punt for Minnesota. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. Well, there are two scores on the plus side. Still time here in this fourth quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
Credit the tackle there to Aaron Lynch. Run blitz there defensively, something we might see more of here in the fourth quarter.
I think we'll see a lot of it, and the difference between that and a pass blitz, you're just trying to get to the quarterback. You're trying to scheme someone open who will get to the QB and make sure he gets on the ground. In a run blitz, you're actually trying to cover up gaps, trying to cover up holes so they can't run the football.
The rush defense stout on first down. Here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts. That's going to be their second. They'll be left with one more plus the 2-minute warning, and we'll be back. The Falcons on third down. A pretty woeful 0 for 5 thus far. This is 3rd and 8.
Gun. 55.
Strip the ball. Strip that ball. Mike 5-5. Mike 55. I'm coming after you.
A shotgun snap for Newton. Oh, incomplete. Nearly the pick they needed. They would have loved one there, but at least it does get them to 4th down. Critical play in this football game, because if they pick up the first there, that clock keeps rolling.
Has to be a little frustrating for them because they know that if they pick up a first down there and continue to eat away at the clock, really increases their chances of closing this one out. Now they're likely going to have to give the football up and sweat it out on the sideline.
And this one goes angling out of bounds, and it will be spotted inside the 30-yard line. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well,
else.
and maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
From the 35 on second down, Garoppolo, and that'll be incomplete. Good protection that time, and they couldn't hook up on the long one. Now it's 3rd down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, fourth quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. And he finds his tight end. It's Ertz.
Clock management, definitely critical here if they want to get back in this game.
Absolutely agreed. They have to up the tempo in this case, down a couple of scores. Want to make sure they have a chance to win this ball game.
Garoppolo now, first down throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Michael Kendricks able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. The Vikings on third down. They've hit on half of them, 5 for 10. This is 3rd and 14. Caught by the tight end Ertz. It's a pickup of 13, but they're still a bit short, and it'll be 4th down.
A short game that doesn't get them the first down brings up a 4th down situation.
Really nice job defensively. They knew where the sticks were. They got the stop before it. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. They'll run for it with Connor. And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42. The time to pull out the stops is now, and they convert there on 4th down. On the run is Connor. And this one's going to go the wrong way, losing yardage back at the 42. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
Okay, I'm not quite sure how to judge that one. Maybe didn't have enough legs underneath him. Mechanics might have been off. Maybe some fatigue. That one came up short.
Yeah, 4th quarter. Maybe you do start to watch. Is the arm there, the leg's still there? This has been a tough game.
21. Here we go.
Garoppolo. And that will be incomplete.
I wonder, Brandon, I just wonder. You think maybe he was worried about where he was on the field? Was he far enough? Was he close enough to the first down sticks?
Absolutely. He was right there by him, and I think he was thinking first down before he caught that football.
Yeah, got to catch it first, because if you don't catch it, there's no chance of picking up a first down.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays out. And that'll be accepted, of course, and that moves him back 5. And how about this? 4th and long, and they're going to go for it. Garoppolo to throw for it on 4th. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And that is incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Falcons defense stands tall. They'll get the football back. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 on their side of midfield at the 47. On 1st down, a running play ends up going backwards as he won't get close to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he's going to lose 4 yards. Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. Back to the workhorse today. It's Gurley. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for 3rd down. Well executed there on 2nd down, so do you go back to the air on 3rd?
Well, that's a possibility, but now you've opened up things to where you showed that you would run the ball in long-distance situation. You might come back again because I doubt they believe you'll do it a 2nd time.
And he is going to have the first down, and that is going to suck the life right out of this crowd. A gain of 4 that time as the drive will continue.
First down, Falcons.
53, Mike.
Here comes a 20th carry for Gurley. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. Another running situation on the doorstep as they come up 2nd and 10. They'll try a handoff right with Gurley. I guess the simple question, why not just take a knee there?
I don't understand either why you would take any sort of a chance. We've seen it happen in the game of football. Doesn't matter whether you've watched high school, college, or the NFL. Some people get a little greedy, try to get that extra running play in, and it can backfire on them.
He wants it all for the end zone, and he takes it in for the score on the game's final play, so it doesn't affect the outcome, but a little whipped cream on top to their ending.
Or as our friends in Bayou country would say, that's a little lagniappe, a little extra on top.
Now the final act of this victory, the extra point. It's up and it's good as they tack on one more to what's going to be a very satisfying victory. So we had action to the very end of this one, the score on the final play that they didn't need to have. They didn't just run out the clock, though. They added to their final total.
Played it all the way to the end, and you know some coaches preach that and tell their teams, that's what I want all the time, and they feel like if they don't do it themselves, they're not living up to the message that they're sending out.
Now for Minnesota, they obviously fall to 0-1 with the defeat, and they'll try to get back to